Hi again then guys, and welcome to episode 13 of Dirtmasters Unplugged, the fusion tuning series between special projects and Dirtmasters, where we take vehicles which are not typically used for rallying and turn them into custom from the ground up rally spec machines. And in this episode we're featuring a vehicle which I have to admit I don't use at all, really. It's the Mini Clubman Vision GT concept. It's a car which looks pretty cool, but at the end of the day you can't do that much with it in terms of tuning, and generally that means that for me personally anyway, they don't tend to get that much use. So what I've done is I've created a custom tune, kind of a down tune in effect, where I've turned the car into a WRC style machine, and as it turns out, it's actually a very good rally car. So obviously there's no visual modifications that you can do to this car, so we'll go straight over to the garage for the tune setup and then out to the dirt track to see how it performs. So for the mechanical setup on this Clubman WRC car, we've got dirt tyres, or snow of course, whichever you plan to use it for. For the brakes, we've reduced the rear balance to 3 and increased the front to 7. You can't adjust the ride height of course. For the springs, we've reduced that down to 950 front and rear, dampers to 4, anti-roll to 5, camber and toe neutral. For the gearbox, we've got an auto setting of 180, then for the individual gears we've got 3.8, 2.4, 1.8, 1.4, 1.125 and 950 with a final drive of 3. For the diff we've got our initial torque on 20 on the front, 40 on the back, then for acceleration 40 on both and 20 for braking. As far as power, we do have an oil change, so bear that in mind, and then we've reduced the power down to 81.4%, which does give it a little bit more power than a modern WRC spec machine, which tends to be around 320 horsepower, but still brings us up to the 500 pp category quite nicely. For downforce, we've got that on the maximum, and we've given it a 180 kilo ballast to bring us up to the exact weight of a WRC machine, which we've put all the way to the back to also give us a perfect 50-50 weight split. So a relatively simple mechanical setup of course, because you can't really do that much to the car in terms of upgrading. So now let's go out to the dirt track to see how it performs. So as I've said in a couple of my videos in the past, it's my strong belief that any car is good for something, you just have to find out what it is. And I have to admit, as much as I believe that, I am often guilty of writing off cars as being unusable or pointless, just because it's more difficult to find out what they're good at. And for the most part, this was one of those cars for me. I'm not a huge fan of Mini anyway. I didn't expect it to be very good as a Vision GT car, and the fact that you couldn't even tune it kind of just sealed the deal for me to just shove it in my garage and never use it again. However, this series has caused me to find out that the car does indeed have a good use, at least one good use, and I'm sure there are those of you guys who use this car on a regular basis and really enjoy driving it as a drifter or a circuit racer or just as a cruiser. But as it happens, it makes a brilliant rally machine. I have to say, it drives, looks and feels like a WRC car. It has the proportions and the feel of a WRC machine. It handles the extra ballast and the reduced power extremely well. The handling is absolutely fantastic on this car. It goes around corners perfectly. It's very easy to drive as well. As for how competitive it is, I haven't used it in any rally races, but I should imagine, based on how good it feels, it would be a highly competitive WRC spec machine. So if you've got a Mini VGT and you're looking for something to do with it, or you've just got one in your garage and you haven't used it in a while, I would encourage you to try out this tune setup on it, because I guarantee you'll have fun with it, if not win races with it. So if you do decide to use this tune, as always I hope you find it helpful and of course competitive, and that's it for this build, so I'll see you guys next time, and as always, thanks for watching.